Hello, Army. Borahay and welcome. Apabang po, everyone. And
Hello,
welcome
hello.
to our global town hall, which is our second one. It is going to be even more phenomenal than yesterday, if that's possible. Yesterday, the phenom of it was just incredible. The ability of us to be able to connect to Army across the globe and speak with our lovely French Army compatriots who helped us and who we just had such a fantastic conversation yesterday. I am now putting our Twitter live. I'm about to go put that on. So I want everyone to give me one moment. So we are Living Bangtan 7, and we are a global nonprofit that focuses on mental wellness and self-care through the healing messages of Bangtan. Our parent company is Diversity Geek, which is the onus of control and owns the model. We've done this work for the last 7 to 10 years with the goal being to reduce um, the risk for suicide. Okay, so someone has feedback on their phone right now because you're hearing me. So if you could just mute, that would be lovely. Thank you. Okay, we are now live on our Twitter space. Okay, I'm going to read our introduction and I will be right with you, and then I'll ask all our lovelies who are on with us today to please join us. I am playing Hobie in the background. He is always a source of inspiration, as Bangtan has always been for us. Hello, Army, and welcome to Living Bangtan 7. You can find us on every social media site. As you know from this event, we have just had beautiful outpouring of love and support across all of our social media sites. Today, and as you know, we are a platform that the Diversity Geek team created to bring you wellness discussions, content, and musings based on the healing positive messages of Bangtan Sonyadan. And everyone understand living bulletproof. Living Bangtan 7 means living bulletproof 24/7. And our purpose as an organization is to help us to learn how to live confidently with self-love throughout the day, protected by the support and the love of BTS and ARMY. We have had phenomenal feedback from groups across the world already. Every single show we've actually had people message me back already. Lantu, we've had messages from everyone. It's incredible. Actually, it was so incredible that groups have reached out to us to join to be on this show and other shows. Groups, not just people. I'm like, this is just in it. I was just talking with my children, and I'm going to welcome you, but I want to share this moment as we go into this global town hall. I was just speaking with my children because I took some mental wellness time for myself. Um, Recognizing, as we said yesterday in our town hall, recognition is the beginning of everything before we acknowledge. I recognized I needed some time to just breathe and be with myself and be with my children. And I spoke with them about why living Bangtan 7 is such a passion for me, and why creating it has happened, and how this show and how I do it in their honor. I do it in the honor of all of the children across the globe who may not have someone who can help them with this message. I do it in honor of my brothers who've left the world, who but helped me to survive my traumas. So as we lead into the today and into the finale of our show, which goes through tomorrow, you know, you want everyone to know that we've already been impacting people across the world. And so it's just such an honor for us to be able to bring our words to Army across the globe, and have an impact on their ability to manage their own self-care. And for me to have this even conversation with my children again today was such an important part of my wellness. Does that make sense? So You can unmute. So what's going to happen is as we do this show, my loves, I'm going to have you introduce yourself one at a time. But as we do the show, there's um, one person's feed is has a lot of background feed. If you could check who it is, each of you mute until we figure out who it is. I think it's not Danielle. Floor is muted. Lantu, you have a lot of feedback on yours. Not sure if it's the show, maybe. Not sure.
Oh, sorry.
There's some feedback.
Oh, really?
Mm. And you're not actually on Twitter Space right now. You came out, so
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah. It just cut. I don't know. I don't
okay.
understand.
Actually, everybody cut. Hello,
Oh,
everyone
okay.
on Twitter Space. How are you? This is Nisha coming to you live from Living Bangtan 7 and with the BTS Army Association in France. And we are here for our global town hall, BTS Unifying and Healing Army. This is our conversation on how the Bangtan message has been a unifying factor for 50 million people across the globe. And I say that, and I think how incredible that we get to speak about 50 million of us who have found our home in the Bangtan message and as BTS Army. Isn't that just an incredible concept? To have a family so big. So I'll start with Danielle. If you want to introduce yourself, that would be fantastic.
Sure. I'm Danielle. I'm from North Carolina, and I'm just really excited to be here today to discuss this. BTS has had a big impact in my life and just accepting who I am. So I'm just excited to share that with you guys today.
Oh, thank you so much. And then Miss Lantu.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Lantu. I'm from Paris. I'm so excited to be with you guys today. I was already with you last night, and it was incredible. So, just sharing all this power we are progressively building.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
this year is very significant. So,
I think
well, yeah, it's huge. I think it's huge.
I love that concept. I think hold on to that. Let's talk about that later. About the significance of why this year is like
Mm,
propelling everything forward. Thank you.
yeah.
And then Miss Joanna.
Hi everyone, my name is Joanna. I'm a Filipino from the Philippines, currently based in Connecticut, US.
And you want to tell everyone a little bit about what you do? Just a little short snippet.
Oh, sure, for sure. I am a speaker, author, coach, and I am the founder and chief advocate of School in a Backpack, the importance of experiential learning and character education, and like how BTS is, how their character is just so powerful and so impactful, that it touches lives, not even just the youth, but across ages and generations and
Hmm.
races. Gender. It's just really amazing. So I'm glad to be here.
Yay, thank you so much. And then Fleur.
Hello, everyone. I am Flor. I'm from Peru, right now in Peru, but I live in Madrid. So I'm here.
You what? I didn't hear the last part.
I usually live in Madrid, Spain.
Oh, yep, you are. And
Yeah.
you are also studying something.
Yes, I am a general physician and I'm doing my medical residency on microbiology.
Mm-hmm. All the bugs in the world, the things.
Exactly.
So, I'm not sure if Army on Twitter is having trouble with the connection, because we had a lot of people on and I'm not seeing that they're connected. But I have it open so all our conversations they can hear us as we speak. And just check with your Army groups in Twitter and ask if they can just join again. I am not really sure what just happened, but then Twitter being what it is, it's been a thing. So hold on one moment, my dears. This was a really interesting learning experience yesterday for us to do the Twitter and this at the same time. We learned that we can manifest it, which is good. All right, so we usually play an opening reel. If you don't, I'm going to take a few moments and play our Bangtan opening reel. because without our seven angels, we wouldn't be here today the way that we are speaking as we're speaking. And yes, perfect. Thank you so much. If you can just press stop cam, that would be lovely. And I am about to play our opening reel. I have so many images of the boys in here right now. Just press stop cam, guys.
We are bulletproof.
And here's a little bit about us. And we are back. Thank you so much, everyone. So when we lead into this conversation, I did give a couple lovely. Oh, they want me to restart the Twitter space. So let me do that right now as Twitter goes. I gave a few prompts earlier. If you put in the chat, we actually posted those. They're usually I have a very open conversation, right? And I'll have my questions. But these three prompts are the ones that I think I wanted to let you know. They came from my mind, certainly, absolutely. However, believe it or not, these three prompts came from questions I've received over the last few months from global armies and armies across the world. And when we put the questions together, they literally came out to this type of question. And as I was reading them, I realized, oh, Army is asking, how, in an incredulous, excited way, did we get to, how have we achieved this? How have we become this absolutely strong phenom for global unification as a group? And doing that through the healing message of Bangtan. How is that even possible? It's a valid question, no, for us to be asking that. So how, I'm going to start with Lanchu. How do you think we as Army because you've been with me a long time, in the sense that both of us have been here a while, 2014, 2015. Lanchu, how did we grow this big? How did we get here? How did this happen?
Uh, I think it's quite simple. After all, we grew exactly the same way as BTS grew up. So little by little, one person each time. And in France, we are not unified. We are not well unified today. So it's very important for me to try to um, to try to gather French army, army from Belgium, all armies speaking in French don't have this culture. Well, some do, but they feel lonely. So this space is very significant for me because it's a sort of a proof that everything is possible, to show them that we can show them, and we did last night. We can show them that we can be one part, we can be one global fandom. And we managed to do this in US and, well, all around the world. There are people. When I was in Busan, it was incredible. When I was in Las Vegas, it was incredible. For August D, it was incredible. We were like one person, one group, only one, and this takes time, and I think we just, yeah, I'm repeating it, but I think we just grew, Army just grew up the way Bangtan grew up, just um, a step at a time, people by people. I don't know if it makes sense.
It does. It was a step process in the long run.
Yes.
Us being able to get to a place where
Yeah.
we were able to slowly. But the thing is, because I know Joanna's been here for a little while too. Um, and I want to speak to what you said there a moment ago about the languages coming up as a factor. And we are live now on, by the way, on Twitter. We had to reboot because Twitter Space went down as we went live. That's so funny. It's so cool. I'm good with that though. I have to just laugh. So, mm, I'm an Indian woman, right? I speak a couple different languages. I've lived with them for 6 years until I realized that there are Indian women my age out here who are Bangtanis. It took me up until 2.5 years ago to get to the place where I was like, wait a minute, there's a lot of people like me out there. I only just learned about Trinidad Army, how formative they are and how they're starting to come together as an entity. And I was like, this is incredible. But here I have been around, and here I've been Army technically for 9 years. My global focus was mainly on what came out of K Army or say J Army, for instance. Does that make sense? Yeah, because I think that's what we knew, that's what we could see. But um, so, what do you think, in Joanna, in terms of our global growth as an entity? We are BTS Army. That
Yeah.
means we are them and they are us. That's the one
Mhm.
thing I always will say.
Yeah, yeah. I like the line that they always say, we are not seven with you, which
Mm,
means like they know, like, as BTS as a group, they know specifically that they are seven members, but they know that there's so much more than the number seven because of how inclusive they are.
Hmm.
With the army, they literally say all the time how important army is, and like every award, it's army that gives it to them. It's not even the institutions where these awards came from, it's really army, and so I think that's such the power of unification really comes from their voice. But then us taking it on as army, and like, for example, like, your the living Bangtan 7 that you put up, or the diversity geek that you put up, and like, even in your profession you can incorporate
mm,
the words that come from their music that gives life and that breathes life, even to those that are affected by it. So I think that's the power of how our boys is able to unify army across continents and across cities and across countries. And even if you're in the same city, and you'll find, like, for example, for me, like, okay, I'm in the city of Connecticut and I can find army in Connecticut, and I can automatically connect with them, and because we know we're army, you know despite where we come from, or races or genders and all of that, we automatically feel how welcomed we are. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're army.
Hmm.
I remember last month, I went to a White House event, to attend one of their events, and um, in my bag. So the VP Kamala Harris was there. She was the speaker at that White House event, and so the special forces were there and checking all the bags and everything. And I had my army bomb in my bag, so they had to open everything, all the special forces, and they all looked so professional. They just they had to open everything and take out everything to make sure it's safe. And they pull out the army bomb, and I saw one of them just smile. And
Oh.
like, she knows and she gets it, and she's like, "You're okay." So even those little things that are nonverbal, that they're, you get to know who's who, and there's just this amazing connection and
Mm.
unification. Yeah, that's brought about by our boys.
So I apologize. We are having a lot of issues with Twitter. It's space itself going down. So understand, I am trying very hard to open the show. What I can do is if I can ask Pro and Floor, because Pro's listening in. Floor, can you open Twitter Space on your phone and keep it on from your place, please? So we had this happen yesterday. Remember, Lantu? Because we both had weather issues yesterday. But then once the weather cleared up, it was okay and everyone could hear us just fine. When you do a global show in this particular way, which I have in the past, the internet is a thing. It is a factor. Okay. So when you go in, it's under you're doing it underneath. Obviously, you're logging in under our Twitter space, yeah, and you're doing it live as me. So I'll come out of it so that you can do it. Okay. Thank you guys. Bear with us as we get this done.
So okay, while Nisha is working on that, maybe Nisha, do you want the group to keep going talking about the same subject of unification?
I'm actually going to keep going, if that's okay, and then I'm going to do my my little stuff. Yeah, it's Twitter that's down, just so you understand. So I apologize to our Twitter family. I am doing our best to get it back up. It is Twitter that's down. It is not actually us. That's why we have the show luckily on multiple platforms. So that's actually something to understand. When we face something like this, back in the day, I would say in 2015, I relied on Twitter for me to find my Army family. It was the place that I could get to and be able to speak with anyone, hear anything that was going on. Now we've globalized in terms of our communication. Tell me, Danielle, for instance, how do you think that that's helped for you and Tiffany, for instance, because Tiffany's working on a global level because of what we're doing with BTS Army Med Union. How do you think that that's helped you and our US Army fan base to be able to connect better?
Yeah, so now armies are on all social media platforms, which opens up a lot. Like I personally normally didn't use Twitter before becoming an army. I didn't really like it. But then after becoming an army, I started using it because there were so many there. But I find just as much connection with armies on Instagram, even now on Facebook. People will create Discord accounts to just communicate. And then as soon as you meet someone who's army, they're like, hey, we have this group, you should join. And it just creates this huge unification for everyone because they're so welcoming, so open. I've met people going to concerts or just, out in the street and they're like, hey, like, so you should join this group or you should be a part, follow this on Instagram, follow this on, this social media, whatever the like Snapchat groups, whatever they are. And it just helps everyone to know a part. And you'll hear when, like, I know we've met people that like just met an army and you just start talking about, well, did you see what happened with JK or did you see what Hobie posted? And they're like, no, what was it? So then you start sharing all of this stuff and everyone's just so excited. So it's not just making friendships, it's also learning about the boys as well.
I call that a meta language. In my research, we talk about fandom as having created its own meta language. There's meta language in different communities and cultures. We have the Bangtan or BTS meta language. Do you think that that's something? We have our own language. I mean, Tay literally created a word how many different times now that is now in a dictionary. Is that not incredible? Do you know BTS Army is now part of meta language? Borahae is part of meta language. Apple Bangpo is part of meta language. Do you real the significance of this at a global level is just insane. How connected do you feel then when that now we have our own meta language, Lantu, that we can share regardless of the other languages we speak?
The meta language is just, how can I say that? It's just melted in French, for example. It's part of French. We the other day I was in the subway, and do you understand? Do you hear me? Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. The other day I was in the subway and I was talking on the phone with a friend, army friend, and I was using meta language, just naturally. And I saw someone was staring at me at other, uh, uh, the other, on the other side of the subway, and it was an army. She was, she just heard Boraye, she just heard some kind of words we usually use. So she went near to me and we just talk a little bit and have a
Mm-hmm.
little walk together afterwards. And it's someone who is very lonely as an army in Paris, and she's new from Paris. She used to live elsewhere, and she will come. She will join us
Oh.
eventually. So that's great. And just because I was talking about Buraye, and we were organizing the run army we did on next last Saturday, and I was just talking, and someone heard me, like William. Someone on the other side just heard me in the subway. It was quite a moving story, I think.
That is what we call a microcosmic story that has, I think, been happening to it. We call it army in the wild here in the US. I'm not sure if you have that term.
Can you?
Army in the wild. How do we explain that?
Army in the wild?
That means we go out into the world and we're representing Bangtan and we find army or they find us.
Oh,
Like we just
okay.
recognize each other.
Yeah, we do. We do. We don't have an expression like this in French, but I think I'm gonna find one.
You should find
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
It's
and
it's it's
spread it.
it's this huge thing we say to each other. Oh, I found another army in the wild today. Right,
Oh,
Danielle,
okay.
right?
Absolutely.
It's so much fun though, isn't it?
Yes.
I love nothing more than when I'm out with patients and they recognize my Bangtan stuff on me. They'll be like, because you just see their face, just this instant snap. The trust level we talked about yesterday. It's just that's it. It's just there. Um, oh man, Army in the Wild is me being able to find you. mm, in the middle of Korea, even though we expect to see army, that doesn't mean that you always do. It's the middle of walking through any country or any space, and all of a sudden you find someone. I have an army Joyce who lives a few townhomes away from me, and we found each other outside. She had just moved in, and her entire family is all army. It's this state of yeah, exactly. You got it, Aditi. Meeting armies randomly in public places is pure joy. I love this. Everyone's chatting in here. So the Twitter space is open, my friends. I am not sure if everyone's able to hear it. If not, it's really not on us. We're doing our best, but it is Twitter that's been the issue most of this time. What are you going to do? You learn to live with the unexpected, and what happens happens, right? That's the best that you can do. So we're going to go a little more deep dive if you're ready. So how has embracing the Bangtan improved your self acceptance or self truth? I will let you choose either of the two to talk about. Flora, do you want to answer? I know you're trying to help me with Twitter, so it's a big question, but a simple one at the same time. How has embracing Bangtan improved your self acceptance or your self truth? Joanna, you want to try that one first?
Sure, yeah. It's I think it's amazing how we've seen our boys over the last 10 years grow out of their shell, come out of their shell, like how their music has progressed and how like they found their own personas as a group and then now as solo artists. How we've seen that takes a lot of self-acceptance, and taking it from that, I guess, with me learning that you know their music is not commonly popular until Army came in and took over and said, "Hey, their music is it's lit, it's fire," and like, and now more artists are coming in and like being more acceptance of the genre,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
honestly, K-pop is a different genre. I think, I mean, this is my perspective. K-pop is a different genre from BTS. BTS, it's its own genre. I think that like, and I believe that Army can definitely resonate when I say that BTS is this own genre, because it transcends different kinds of musicalities. And how that's helped me is because music is such a powerful tool to connecting to your emotions, and
Mhm. Mhm.
learning to accept your emotions and allowing music to infiltrate that. It's so reflective. When you reflect on yourself and the things that you go through, and learn to accept the things that you go through, then you learn to be more accepting of yourself. Then you learn to figure out what your truths are. You set your boundaries, and you know who you are. You just like our boys, you kind of come out of your shell too. So I think that's how Bangtan, the boys and their music, has helped me with when it comes to self reflection and self truth. Their music has such a power to just shred off, peel off layers and layers of your onions until you're like,
Mhm.
I'm okay to be me. Take it or leave it. I'm okay to be me. So, yeah, I think that's what's true for me in terms of their music and our boys.
Mm.
Mhm.
I love that concept that you put them together. I think a lot of people may not understand that self acceptance leads to self truth leads to self acceptance. That it's this constant dynamic of a give and take within yourself. Now, we're as a global language, do you and everyone can chime in on this one. Do you feel that the Bangtan message. Now, I call it Bangtan healing message. Everyone knows this. This is literally our phrase. In our entire my book is the healing messages of Bangtan Sonyadan. So the language that we talked about, the meta language and the healing messages of Bangtan, do you feel mm, that they are a driving force for us to be able to move towards self acceptance or self truth? How do you feel that that's happening through their music? Lantu?
Oh, when you were talking, I was thinking about Magic Shop. For me, it's a very important song that spread. For me, it's a big message because I take this song like, um, when you meet Army, you have the impression that the person is just willing to open their door, but without asking any question, and just
Mhm, mhm,
accept you the way you are. And we do as well with other Army. And this, how do you say it? Unconditional love in English?
unconditional love.
Unconditional.
Mhm,
This unconditional love is, for me, it's like a, how can I say it? It helps. It helps. It helps to heal people, to heal myself, and to accept myself uh,
mhm,
as an yes. And the concept of magic shop is that,
mm.
moving forward and helping myself as well.
So then, how can I ask then if for a moment? By the way, it's Twitter Space that's down. I apologize, Army. I am doing everything I can. Flora, I just posted into Twitter if you see it to have everyone jump on one of our streams. If Flora, if you could, as yourself, as me, as our company. Flora is also my social media. Lovely. She's been helping me and keeping this thing floating, guys. Without Flora, there'd be no show at all with her and Pro behind the scenes. I'm telling you, I'm a blessed woman. I'm gonna cry. I have Flora in Peru and Pro in Bangladesh helping sustain this show. If that doesn't prove the global love of Army, I don't know what does. So, uh, sometimes it takes something not working to show you what does work, right? Does that make sense? And I think the love we have for each other is the thing that works. I'm going to say yes. The love that Army has for each other is the one thing that I believe works. And it's not always perfect. So, in its imperfection, let's talk a little bit about what you just said. I want the concept of magic shop to keep going. Do you remember in the muster where they did the magic shop itself, Lantu, and we saw JK searching for an inner truth and an inner
Yeah.
happiness and joy? And the truth for each of the others was not something that gave him the joy, and that was okay. Does everyone remember that?
Yes.
So let's tap into that concept then. If, as a global entity, Bangtan did something that no group in life has ever done, they literally walked us through live meditation. They opened Magic Shop Muster with a live meditation, guided meditation. How incredible was it for us to be feel that when you first heard that guided meditation, Danielle, did you get to watch that, by the way?
I have gone back and seen clips, but I never actually got to watch the full thing.
It was in Bang Bang Con. They played it again. They played the one that which was incredible. They played the one from Seoul because we don't get it that often. Did anyone else get to watch that clip?
I did.
Like,
I did.
Joanna, Flora, did you get to watch that one? You remember we watched it together? We were
Yeah.
watching together. We did a view party. Wasn't that something? How did you feel? Because you're newer Army. Did you know that they'd done something as beautiful as that? That they literally walked us into the magic shop in that way?
No, that show felt, I don't know, something very pretty new to me. I've listened the songs, the discs, but haven't been. Actually, my only BTS concert was D-Day. So
But the moments when they create that space and that voice comes on and we hear them say, let's enter the magic shop together. Let's take our dual set breaths. Let's take a moment. Danielle, you have to watch it. I don't want to spoil it for you. I feel so bad now. Oh my God. I mean, Joanna, what does it feel like for us as a global entity that they gave us a gift like that to help us?
Yeah, I love that. I love that question. It is a gift. Um, okay, so one of the things that I've also come to realize when the unification that they've given us is not only just internal, but it's also so external to the point that, like, when we know that we're speaking or we're looking at an army, we see beyond, the extremities. We see the heart and we get united and connected because of that heart. And I think that's one of the most impactful part of that magic shop meditation
Mm-hmm.
show that they did is because they really wanted to reach into our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
They want to say that, like, you can have your inner self. You can reconnect with your inner self, and there's peace in that, and there's self-acceptance in that, and there's truth in that. You can find yourself in that, and it going out into the world as army coming out of that, you become more accepting too of the other person. It's such a unifying, powerful experience, and it's so nice to have them come up with not just that show, but song after song and lyric after lyric, and even right now with their songs like Amygdala is so transparent. It's soul bearing, like I'm letting you in kind of thing. And this is my truth, and I'm learning to accept it. And so it becomes a model for us armies. So I think it's such a powerful tool. yes, it's a gift. So I love how you put it.
I'm actually going to play a 2-second clip, and then we're going to talk about that clip. If you guys give me 1 second, okay? So Twitter's basically down. There's not much we can do about it. Floor, if you're able to sign this as a Living Bangtan 7 from your point of view, please go ahead and try and push out that tweet. We'll do the best we can, and if nothing else, we'll come back and do this again later. Because no harm. We're never wrong to bring this conversation back to Army another day, right? Because it's a good conversation. So let's think about what we were just talking about. What they give us is a gift. So thank you, Julie. I'm so happy that you're on here. It's about the book. Everyone should be reading it. Can someone, if you don't mind, we have some feedback. If you don't mind, my dears, just give me a moment and put yourself on mute.
이 기적 아닌 기적을 우리가 만든 걸까 난 여기 있고 네가 내게 다가와 주어 I do believe you gotta see 듣고 싶은 너의 멜로디 넓은 하수의 별들은 너의 하늘과 난 어떻게 수없이 난 처음 왔지 그리고 내가 널 찾아서 밀리지마 넌 철벽했지 서 있던 내 마지막 기회야 내가 알기 싫은 날 약간 사라지고 싶은 날 오늘 하나 만들자 너의 말소리 그 문을 열고 들어가 별이 곳이 기다릴 거야 믿어도 괜찮아 널 위로해줄 magic show 따뜻한 찬잔을 마시며 저 너의 술을 올라가 보면 괜찮을 거야 여기 magic show So show me, I'll show you. So show me, I'll show you. So show me, I'll show you. Show you.
Okay. Much as I want to play the whole thing, I can't.
Would be awesome. Oh, that was wonderful.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I can't see that it's working, but I'm so happy. So those lines and those phrases are the epitome. They're the example of what we're talking about today. Lantu, my crying time is coming a second time. Okay. It's only supposed to be once a show.
It's festa time, so you have the right to.
I'm in the right place.
Longer, yeah.
When I saw this the first time, I broke down. And I will probably always break down. This is a gift. There's no other word for it. They handed us these words that said, you come to us. We have opened the door for you. And when you walk through this door, you will receive acceptance. You will receive love unconditionally, just like you just said, Lanju. So I'm going to ask each of you, and Danielle, this is your first time seeing this. How did that feel, being the first time?
I don't really have the words. Like it's just amazing. For me, I have thinking of a lot of friends that I have that struggle with mental health, and then they're also armies. But when they talk about that song, they talk about, you know what, it's okay. The way that I am, who that I am, it's okay, because what the boys have done is they provided this kind of space for you to be who you are. And it's accepted, and other armies have taken on that same idea of who you are is okay. And I think just when you listen to that song, it's just a reminder, at least for me, okay, it's such a great thing just to be who you are, and that you really are accepted. And as Lantu said, just that unconditional love that everyone shares with everyone else within this group, and it's just an incredible thing.
Who could have expected it? So, Flora, this, in those moments, did you feel something inside of you connect differently?
It's always I hear that song. It's a safe place to me. Every time I listen to it, it's a safe place.
That's
And
what
that's how I feel.
that's perfect. I love that. You need to write that for me. Magic shop equals safe space. I'm good with that. Does everyone agree? I am totally in agreement with that line. Thank you, Laura. I think we're going to start labeling it that way. But they must have known that, because then they created the magic shop concept, where it was a safe space for JK to go in and find himself and find his own truth.
Mhm.
So they then themselves knew that they were working on actually creating a safe space for us. I love that. You're new Army and you got it the first time you saw it, you got it. Look at that. That's what I'm saying. Global meta language. It's it's incredible. So let's talk then. Then we're going to talk about the discography and how across the discography, if in your personal life experience with them as a global army, how has it helped you to transition through your own mental wellness journey? We'll talk with Joanna, and then we'll go with Lantu.
Okay, thank you. Um, they have such a wide range of songs, and they all speak truth. I guess some of the songs that resonated with me, the biggest one would be On. Um, Personally, going through a lot of things during the time that came out, and them saying, win no matter what, or like, you know, it's a fact. The rain is going to keep pouring and the sky is going to keep falling, but hey, guess what, you're a fighter, so just keep going on and on and on and on. It's such a simple verse, but it speaks in volume. It's so powerful. And then they keep going on with that same message over and over again, that like, fake love, like, you'll experience some heartbreaks, and but guess what, you sacrificially giving off of yourself, you're losing yourself. You got to love yourself first, because you can't be faking it with yourself also. It's so reflective. They have such a wide range of music, and it just pierces through and brings forth truth. I think that their journey with their songs gives us a journey into our inner selves, and collectively as army, that's such a unifying element, because we're all human beings going through the same, you know it's the same stories. That it might be differing in treatments, but we go through the same heartaches, and we go through the same
Mhm,
confusion, and we go through the same pain, and the skies will keep falling in the rain, but
mhm.
we're all fighters, and guess what, as an army, we can all go through this together. And so I think it's powerful, beautiful.
Absolutely powerful. You made me think a heartbeat exactly when you said that, because that's what the song literally holds as the message is: you are our heartbeats, we are your heartbeats. When we are together, we beat unconditionally as one rhythm. Let me be that for you. That's just who writes like that except Bangtan, I swear, these boys. So, Lantu, what do you think about with the discography in the same way? How do you see
Yeah,
the transition for your own journey?
yeah, I can't relate with what Joanna just said. I think, in a way, when I was listening to her, I just realized that we are on the same path
Mm-hmm.
somehow. Uh, many of us say when we met us, that we met them, sorry, at the exact moment we had to to meet them. And at this moment, it was somehow compulsory to meet them because it was the exact moment we could understand what they were, understand the message, and this, understand the way their music could be something healing for us. So, and then afterwards, there is this, you discover the music little by little, and you just grab all the messages,
Mhm.
and you just go on the path. And for me, I think one song that is important for me in this area is Supplementary Story.
Oh yeah.
Uh, because there's a line in there that say that uh, uh, I want to fly, but I have no wings. But maybe your hands will be my wings. And I think it's very moving. And this is a way, with your hands being my wings, is a way to make me forget the dark and lonely things, all this. And this is possible because we are together. And it's there is the concept of unity, the concept of acceptance. Everything is in these lyrics. So I think it's yeah, it's a great song. So all songs are great anyway. So
I'm so sorry. What was the last thing you said?
all their songs are great,
Oh,
and all their stuff.
100,000%. Okay, okay. No, no, 100,000%. I get lost in what you guys know. You've been on a show with me. You know, I get lost in what you're saying, and then I'm like, oh yeah, you said. I'm thinking so much the whole time. Would you, Danielle? You're newer to the discography. Have you had time to really go back and really, listen from the beginning? Is that something you've had a chance to do?
Started. I haven't quite been able to go through the whole thing and go through every album because they do have a lot of music. But for me, I think some of the songs that like first connected with were definitely Epiphany and Answer Love Myself. Those were just the ones that, for me, right? Like they talk about the being like who you are, accepting who you are for who you are, and in that, and especially the talking even the relationship that they have with Army of you show me the reasons why I should love myself, right? Not just. And I think that goes to I think of Nisha, my sister Tiffany, she always talks about, you're this great person and whatever. I'm like, even I don't feel that, right? And she's not just saying that because she's my sister, and she's saying that because she understands the value of accepting oneself for who they are. And that's really the message I think that I've connected with the most.
Mm-hmm. That message is this indelible thing. Like how do you say in French and Spanish? Indelible means that it's written in the pattern of something. How do you say that in those?
It's indelible.
Indelible. So it is the same. Is it
Yeah, it's the same word. Yeah.
And in French and Tagalog, is it similar?
Indelible.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, I love that that's a word that's literally. So it's literally indelible. It's written in the DNA, the pattern, and the structure of who they are. I have to say this, and that Lanchu knows there were points in time with the boys where they got made fun of this concept, right? The industry was like, "What are you doing? Why are you writing this kind of song? This is not what you're supposed to be writing. What is wrong with you?" And even up until recently, other groups literally, for God, don't even know how it's possible, were making fun of their discography being focused on mental health. Um, so I'm only saying that because I want to understand something. Do you think people who don't listen, and we can't speak for people who don't listen, but is it the message that fully you connect to their voices? And what might have maybe you don't listen? Why, your family members? I know it's a hard question to understand. There are a lot of people who don't listen to them because they have an assumption of who they are, right? Why do you think that happens? Is really the question. That's a hard question, and I'm aware of that. So you don't have to answer it, but there are people out there who still to this day have assumptions of who they are as a in a genre, and they don't actually see them as a whole entity. It's a bit difficult, right? Why do you think what do you think could be done differently for, or do we even need to bother to make it be done differently? Can we
Mhm,
just let the message grow by itself?
mhm. I think unfortunately humans we tend to judge books by their covers. And BTS is packaged where okay, the music industry is predominantly
Right.
yeah, or like they're kind of pop music, kind of hip hop. They have it's stereotyped. Unfortunately, it's
Mhm.
stereotyped and it's already labeled. And so here comes something new, and a lot of us don't like change or are not comfortable with change,
Mhm.
not easily accepting of change. But we have, as we said in the beginning, we have to learn to not judge books by their cover because the content is so much more. And we know that to be true with
Right.
BTS. Their content is just mind blowing, phenomenal, life changing, life altering. Um, their content is just it's amazing. I mean, RM is just one person, but when he speaks, it just pierces through your bones and marrows. Then here comes Suga with his, bear bearing soul lyrics, and then J Hope, who's so like butterfly, is just a ray of sunshine, and Jimin with his, every member just brings a certain flavor that it takes a while for us to try to chew them and to realize, wow, this dish is amazing. I cannot have more than just one.
Mhm.
I have to keep going and ordering this dish and reading through the book and discovering the content.
So
Yeah.
speaking of that, I have a live example of how influential they are. This book, everyone knows this book, right?
Wow.
Because JK mentioned it in his live 2 lives ago. He mentioned the story of crying in H water and how he cried listening to this book. And you have to realize we already spoke about how the story of Omelis and the magic shop, and now this book, and how many other books in this world have been now listened to or read because of the influence of these seven boys. So their content, does it not go beyond their discography? It goes way beyond it, right? They're influencing us in so many other ways that are positive. Does anyone want to talk about the other levels of influence they've had in our life, the things that
Yeah.
they help us to do?
Yes, I used to say I have my favorite music. If you ask me who's my favorite band, I wouldn't say BTS because I think of them like a whole different thing that holds que abarca algo tan grande en tantos aspectos distintos that
Sí.
holds so many things in so many different aspects.
Sí.
So BTS to me is like a whole different thing, just not only music.
They're symbolic. Es simbólica. Es lo más grande, más fuerza the initial. It's much larger and much grander than the initial concept of a name. They go beyond that because they are
Exactly.
symbolic of something.
Exactly.
There?
That
Is that
exactly.
yeah? So do you think that then is that is the symbol this that what they're symbolizing then is what we're connecting to the most? Of course, the seven boys. Hello. That goes no, no. But the symbolism of what they've created for us. Do you think that that's unifying factor?
Yeah, they are good people. I, I can't put it in other words. I mean, for example, I was seeing permission to dance live stream, and
Mhm.
there is a clip when the camera focus on JK, only JK, but he was like minding his own business. He wasn't like paying attention, and I felt this urge to protect him from the bad things in the world. I
Oh,
couldn't think of him like, oh, he's hot or he's cute or nothing,
nothing,
nothing.
nothing.
Just protect him. He portrayed this image of someone so pure, and they all do, and they are good people.
Mhm. I love that you said that because yesterday when he went live during our show, and we literally took silence. We took silence in the middle of our show, didn't we? We stayed quiet because we're like, JK's sleeping. Let's just watch him sleep. And and we were like, how does that make sense for this many people around the world to sit here and just watch someone sleep? And we said it's because it was about our own wellness. Because he gave us so much trust. He
Mhm.
trusted us to watch, to be there when he needed to rest his soul. And in doing that, he's telling us, you do that for yourself. Do it for yourself as well. It's always the symbolism of the reciprocal, that there's a reciprocal love we have for each other.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So I have a question at the bottom. Can each of you try and toggle into that question for me? Yes, you should have known I was going to ask you a hard one. I don't ask easy questions. And Army, who are out there, can you go ahead and write your answers in the chat for me?
Mhm.
Also, and Twitter Space is hearing us, by the way. The problem is that I've invited our Army from Malanga to join, but I don't think she's been able to join to speak. I apologize to everyone for the madness of Twitter today, but I also heartily invite everyone to please join us to do this again. Okay, so who would like to answer that question?
Oh, yeah, I'll go first. Um, I've been following them for 10 years now, so it's a little difficult for me to answer because they're now part of my life. So it's like their contents and their healthy messages and everything is their songs, the way they behave and everything is just natural for me. Uh, but I'm a coach. I'm a coach, and I can say that when I listen to the songs and when what I'm watching Run Taylor Bangtan Run BTS, an episode of Run BTS, for example, it may seems funny, just looking at people doing challenges and so on, but it's much more than that because you they helps people to not be uh, everybody has the right to be foolish sometimes, and you don't have to be shy about it. It doesn't matter if people look at you uh, with a bad way. You can just be yourself. And when you're looking at Run BTS, for example, they are never afraid of being ridiculous, for example. They just play, they're just genuine, and I think it helps me learning to mentally, just mentally to be better. I have an example. I told you that our organization in France, we organized last Saturday. We organized a run army. in Paris, a full-scale one. And there was, have you seen this episode where they have to throw bouncing balls in a, have you seen that? It's quite difficult to do it. And there is one team that had, it was really difficult for this team, and it took them 24 minutes to succeed in putting the ball in the trash bin, and they never let go, never. And it was, for me, it was something that BTS, they told me that they learn perseverance. Do you have the same words in English as well? They learned that with BTS, because they never give away as well. Give up, sorry. They never give up as well. So I think, yeah, that's just an example, but there are so many here. We can hear you. Oh, I can hear you.
Yeah, I put myself on pause. I'm so sorry. So the Twitter, I know, I am so sorry, Terry. I have the army who is in Spain. Are you able to hear me and speak? If you
Yes.
can. Oh, perfect. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, the army in Spain. She's on
They
here.
are they are they are connected.
Could you go ahead and have her speak and make sure it's up next to the mic?
Okay.
Thank you, Sierra. You're so welcome for being here.
Okay. She's on. Irene.
Irena?
Irene. With E.
Yeah, just put it on speaker so you can hear her.
She can talk.
Hello? I hear her.
Yes, she's here.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Irene, te escuchamos.
Yes, sorry. I will put a phone.
All right, Flora, just put yours on mute.
I'm
Go ahead. I am so sorry. Twitter is so difficult today. I literally think we need to re-air this episode. I do it again. I think we should just go ahead and literally schedule it for like tomorrow and just do it again for 30 minutes so we can get it when Twitter's working. And it's such a good episode too. This is just a fantastic conversation. Renan, can you hear us? Are you able to speak or no?
Irene, ¿me puedes oír?
In Twitter.
Repite, por favor. Repite, por favor. It's something.
Just have her join the StreamYard. It's better to join the link. Life is so much easier that way. I am so sorry. Yeah, it's so difficult. We've never had this much trouble with Twitter Space. We did the other one yesterday, and it was beautiful. Who knows? Everything has its reason. But if she can just
she can text.
I was going to say, can you just have her text in, and then you can read it for me? And in the meanwhile, we'll go ahead and we'll just while she's doing that, okay? And then please have her try and join the last show tonight. And then she can speak on the last show. That would be fantastic.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, guys. Thanks for the patience.
Irene, no sé si te importaría participar en el show de la noche, el que te comenté, el último.
No.
All right, I'm actually going to mute you guys, and we're going to continue with the conversation, if that's okay. If she's able to speak, then I will. I can hear her perfectly fine here. So we don't need it on your phone. It's just, if she's able to speak, please just put it in the private chat that she's ready and let her talk. And then the rest of us will stay muted. Just let me know when she's ready. In the meantime, did anyone else want to go ahead and speak to this question? We're running over to allow for the extra time, obviously, because of what's been going on. Danielle or Joanna, do either of you want to speak to that question? How to magnify your own potential by exploring the healthy message? Thank you, everyone, for being so understanding.
I can say for me, and it's reflected some in their music, but it's more so their story of just perseverance and just the continuation. And like, so for me and my potential and like the things that I see in my life that maybe aren't where they should be, but I know like I need to be doing to continue, right? Because like when the boys started, they had nothing, absolutely nothing, but yet they knew that music was their passion. It's what they wanted to do. And the importance of having people that support you as well, because I mean, Hobie wanted to give up, right? He was ready to quit. And how many others, had that same story of they were ready to stop, but because someone else in the group said, no, like, we need you, you need to continue. And just that message for me, I think is one of the things that helped me and my own potential of knowing, okay, like I have those people in my life, like I've identified them. And if you don't have them, you should definitely identify who those people are. And being able to, grow in who I am, and also just, understanding that life, as much as you want it to be all roses, it's not always going to be that way. And so sometimes you just got to press through and keep going. And then, just in that same way, like, well, maybe not have like the same story as the boys and be like as big, but it's still, you can get through it and you can achieve the things that you are trying to get to.
That's beautiful. That was so well stated, Danielle. You put literally 10 years in like 3 sentences. That, honestly, that was very moving. I'm going to need to, you guys have done, I have to go in and literally do and extricate everything y'all have said and put this in writing. This conversation, even with all the madness of Twitter Space, has been just, have you been listening to us? This is just, oh, my heart. And then we're getting these beautiful messages from Army, and they're giving us those answers. So I'm going to add, Jonah, you want to go ahead and answer that question and move towards closing out after that?
Yes, thank you. I guess I'd love to chime in with Danielle and Len, right? Okay, so when she talked about perseverance, as a speaker, one of the things that I've been speaking about since 2017 is courage, racing. I'm a chief advocate of School in the Backpack, and that's always been on the forefront is raising a generation that is courageous. And here comes our 7 boys, and they're like, yep, we got you. They're just like the epitome of like courage right there. 10 years of just going out there and showing up, and like no matter what people are saying, and now things are just, they're being cut off of shows, and like just even up to today, they're like, oh, who are these guys? Or like, what? Who is this white guy? Get him off! Like, why is he the NBA ambassador? I'm like, they're just facing a lot of backlash, and it hasn't really changed a lot because not a lot of people are so accepting, but they come in, they just face it, and they're just courageous, and that makes the numbers of Army grow so much bigger because we are behind you and we see your courage and we are inspired by it. But the biggest thing for me with their messages is really their song Forever We Are Young. From BTS, their laughter is so infectious, and it's even what Suga said in the movie Night, like, it doesn't matter what age you are, we can be youthful forever. And I think that's the kind of lifestyle that I want to live, to love life and to have a zest for life and to just exude this youth that's within me, to be that child and to just laugh when it's funny and cry when it's moving, So I think that's the healthy expression that all humans can share together. So even across like this when we watch that video with Magic Shop and all of our faces and we're all just bopping together from different places, it's beautiful. Yeah.
I absolutely love it. Army, please look below because I just posted the project that we're going to be doing. I believe, I'm hoping everyone is joining us, right, Lanchu? I think we mentioned the Army Day project that we're going to be sending to BTS is this montage that we're creating. Based on this poster comments on how the Bangtan healing message has helped you. It's a very simple message. You can post it whether it's in written form, you can do it as a video. If we get videos, those will go in a different collage. If we get them in written form, if we get them in pictorial, however we get that, we're going to be making literally these beautiful montage, almost like birthday cards. Floor's working with me on that project. You poor face. Look at that face. She's like, no, I'm not. We're making this project and it'll be actually for Army Day. And just as an FYI, go ahead.
Neisha, do you want me to ask French Army to do it? But they will do it in French, I guess.
Yes, no, I want it in French. I want it in Spanish. I want it in everything.
Okay.
Hey, Irene is here. Thank you. Woohoo! Yay! I'm so happy. Oh my goodness. I am so excited you made it. Oh my goodness. And I love that you brought that up about the concept of Run Army versus Run BTS, something we need to bring in with our Army Day project. Welcome, my friend. I am so happy that you're here. Woohoo! And feel very comfortable. There's I'm going to let it's okay. You know the question that we're on right now. We're speaking about the one that's right there. How I can explore and magnify my own potential by exploring the healthy messages and content of BTS. So, do you need that translated, Flora, or are we good?
Hmm?
Do we need to translate that into Spanish?
I a little. I think she's okay, but we're worried about the people in
So,
space.
Army, can you translate this sentence for this question for them, please?
Okay.
And put it in the chat if you don't mind.
Okay.
Thank you so much. So, Irene, if you're able to go ahead and answer this in Spanish, please go right ahead. I think she's having some connection issues again. Oh, this poor thing. We lost her. Okay, so let's close out this sentence. I know you're working. I think I might add my own testimony to this, if it's okay. And I apologize for the feedback. I'm not sure when we're getting it. I think someone has Twitter space open somewhere.
I have.
That's right. It's okay. Just put that on mute. So, Living Bangtan 7 is literally the manifestation of this question. I was just talking with the children, which is why I let out the conversation with. I took some time to talk with my kids and to have a conversation about why I'm doing what I'm doing and how meaningful it is in my own journey of wellness, because I've had to live and learn to find myself through some of the worst trauma and loss, and that I don't want people to have to experience. And in my 57 years to find a way for myself to be able to heal, I was searching for something that would help me. And I created the organization, which is Diversely Geek. And then shortly after, we found BTS. When I allowed Bangtan to become a healing source in my life, my entire DNA structure changed. I told the kids it's as if my genetic structure changed. It was as if I had learned to become a different person.
Hello.
And then they say, yes, that's it. And in those moments, some Army friends of mine helped me to understand that I had layered myself with a lot of things that kept me from exploring my own potential. And slowly, as I listened to the music again and again, I started to peel away those layers. And even so, it took so long to be able to create Living Bangtan 7 because I wasn't sure that I had what it took to make this happen. Lanchu met me last year. I hadn't gotten to this place yet. You met me in October. I hadn't gotten to this place yet. And in December, when Jin went in, he's going into the army, something inside of me said, no, what are you doing? It's holding you back from magnifying your own potential. What is doing this? And I realized I am 9 years on this journey, and I was keeping me from doing it. It was me. While I had perseverance, while I had self respect, I had probably not achieved the level of self acceptance that I needed to when it came to fully allowing their message to live in me, even though it was me. It is me. If you know me, you know it is me, right? I live and breathe this message. It's my existence. When Jin was leaving, I said, what am I doing? I have no other opportunity. I need to do this right now. And it's because of that that we were able to, in 2 days, create this entire company. 2 days. We set up an entire company and launched it. Um, it is their message that sustains because it's a global message of love and acceptance and unity and self belief and perseverance, even through our worst of trauma. Like you said, the boys went through so much in the beginning that they could have walked away at any time, and they didn't because we were there from so early. That's why I thank the earliest army because of them. Then that connection, we're gifted with these boys now for the last 10 years. So, okay, that's my answer to the question. Eden, do you want to, are you, go ahead and answer? En español, está bien. Sí.
Sí, it's okay. Bueno, está bien.
Perdona, es que tengo mala conexión.
Sí, 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 no, este es un
Tengo
problema.
mala conexión y se me corta mucho la voz. La pregunta que pone aquí abajo en el show, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
Sí, sí.
¿Se me escucha bien?
Sí, perfecto.
Sí, sí, perfecto.
Vale, vale. Es que justo lo que estabais hablando antes, que hay personas que no llegan a entrar a los mensajes profundos que transmiten BTS con sus canciones. Hay muchas personas que no llegan a tener esa conexión y creo que es porque verdaderamente no han sabido todavía encontrar cuál es el punto, cuál es el momento exacto en su vida que hagan que sea posible esa conexión con BTS. Sobre todo porque yo cuando empecé con BTS fue por lo mismo, por unos problemas que tuve, problemas familiares, de separación entre mi hermana y yo. Y la verdad es que conocer a BTS fue una de las razones que me hizo seguir adelante y la verdad que fue lo mejor que pude encontrar, sobre todo por conocer a diferentes ARMY de aquí de España, sobre todo. Ahora por fin estoy encontrando gente del mundo y estoy muy contenta de formar parte de este proyecto, de esta colaboración y encantada de poder estar en otros directos, en otros shows y de poder, ¿cómo se dice?, transmitir este proyecto a más personas.
Translate, Flor. Go ahead.
Okay. She said about your testimony, your prior testimony, and the question that we were talking about, this issue about why BTS, why other people can't resonate with BTS the way we do. She proposed something that I agree with her. At some point, she thinks it's because other people haven't been in the point that in life that BTS gets you. It's like we have to be in sync, and I agree with her because I think I must have listened them before. I'm sure of it. When I met them, they were all already big, but I was in a point in my life that we clicked. We just clicked, and she was saying that she also uh, thanked us to giving her a chance to participate, to meet with us, and to meet a army from other countries. I guess that's it. That's it. It's amazing.
I keep muting myself. Ask her how she feels her own self acceptance has improved because of Bangtan and their messages. I know she's losing the signal, so
She said she did. Yeah, she said she did. She said she did.
okay.
She's
It's okay. We do actually have to end the live. Ask her to come back on for the 8 p.m. show, if that's okay. Army is actually hearing me on Twitter Space. I just can't see them, and so I'm actually grateful that whoever we were able to connect today, that we were able to give this gift to them, and that we were able to bring questions like this to the world, and even if only whoever heard us today was meant to hear us, right? Whoever was able to answer. Does anyone want to give a last message to Army about our unity as one before I head off? That's what it is. Literally, that's the message.
Yeah.
It's the message. It's Borahe. Army, I love you.
I purple you.
No matter where you are, I love you. And we will always love you, and we will be here for you. Please keep joining us. Please, be part of our language, our global language. This show has opened the door open for us to continue to speak as one unified army, BTS Army. From here on out, we are no longer just army from here, there. We are one BTS Army. Let's continue this global meta language as one BTS Army so our boys can hear how much we love them and how meaningful they are in our lives. That is the gift I want to give them. So when they come back, they have no worries that we will all be here and even stronger. Okay, my loves, Bora, love everyone. See you pretty soon for the next show.
Thank you so much.
Hold on. Woo!